Hey everyone, so I thought while I was in the mood to film a couple of videos, I'd film a couple more. Seeing as how I haven't had a Super Nintendo collection update since last September, I thought it'd be time for another update to show you guys my complete Super Nintendo collection. And that includes also some Super Famicom games that I have, and I'm actually going to start with those because a couple of them, the names aren't on the cartridges themselves because it's all in Japanese, and I might forget them, so I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys my Super Famicom games first. I have a couple in their boxes, and honestly, I've already forgotten some of those, but they're very basic games. I've remembered the titles of the more important games. Anyways, so starting off here, I have Street Fighter 2, Super Donkey Kong, which I think is just Donkey Kong Country, and Final Fantasy 5. And sorry for that very loud noise there. And then also here, cartridge only, I have this here is Illusion of Gaia, and this is a game called Burning Heroes, and everybody knows, well, a lot of people know Illusion of Gaia is an RPG, so the only reason I got this is because it was in a bundle with a couple other games, and I really wanted those other games. And Burning Heroes is also an RPG. This one was only released in Japan also, so there's no real English version of this. Next up are the few games that I have in their boxes. First up, I have Romancing Saga. I actually like that the boxes were the same size as VHS tape boxes. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I have just regular Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This here is a sort of pachinko slots game. I don't know exactly, but you can sort of figure out what that is by the artwork alone. And then the last box game I have, again, I have no idea what this one's called, but it's just a sort of 4-player marble game where you play as the paddles in your sort of goal, and you have to make sure to not get a goal on your, like, you have to pretty much just play the role of the goalie, and I'm just rambling about that. So I'll just put that off to the side, and I'll get to the good bulk of my collection, and that is my North American Super Nintendo games. Let me just get these out of the way. So first off, I only have one boxed Super Nintendo game, and at least the box is in excellent condition because I actually bought this brand new, and I opened it up because I really wanted to play it, but the value didn't really make an issue of it. Sorry, I messed that up. It wasn't really that big of an issue because there was no real value hike in having this game sealed. It is F-Zero, and it's the Player's Choice Edition, but yeah, it's in perfect, like, brand new condition. And I'm going to show you guys my entire collection, but at the end I'm going to save my 3 most favorite Super Nintendo games to show you guys. So, first stack here, I have 3 stacks to show you guys in total. Bubsy 2, Play Fighter, Cool World. This was also released on the NES, and I think on the Genesis as well. Frantic Flea, The Incredible Crash Test Dummies, and The Lion King. Sorry, I'm so awkward this time around. Next up is Mario Paint, and I also have the mouse, but not the mouse pad for this game. Mortal Kombat, just the first one. Smart Ball. I only bought this because, for those of you that can see it there, it's a Sony game. I was like, ooh, a Sony game on the Super Nintendo. But there were a couple of Sony games. Star Fox, the first one in the series. Street Fighter 2. I have the Japanese version and the North American version of that. And I've actually had three copies of that game. Super Mario World with a really messed up label. When I'm able to find a cheap enough upgrade for this, I will get it. I had only paid $5 for this, so it wasn't a big deal. But since then, the cheapest copy I've seen has been $12.99, and it was in perfect condition, but it was at a Value Village, and it just wasn't worth spending $12.99 on at a thrift store. Next up here is Super Pinball Behind the Mask. I got this for like 99 cents, and there's not much to say about it, it's just pinball. Next up is Super Star Wars. Tasmania. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, and the NES version for this is extremely expensive, way overpriced, and the Super Nintendo version really is the better version, but the NES version is the more valuable one. Ultraman, Wild Snake. It's a puzzle game made by the same guy who created Tetris. So it was cheap enough, and I grabbed that as well. Wing Commander. There's an entire series of Wing Commander games, and they've been released on many consoles over the years. This is the only version I have, but I do want to get the 3DO version, I believe it is. Just because it's on disc and it's on a system that's sort of out of the ordinary, and I'd prefer to have it on a strange system. And the last thing here before I show you guys my 3 favorite games for the Super Nintendo, it is the Super Game Boy. And I really want to get the Super Game Boy 2 that was only released in Japan, but every time those go up on eBay, the prices just skyrocket on it, and it becomes just obscene. And as I promised, lastly are my 3 favorite games, along with being 3 of my more valuable Super Nintendo games. They are my 3 favorite Super Nintendo games as well, and I'm very happy to have these in my collection. I'll start off with the classic that many people love for the Super Nintendo, and it also had a sort of sequel recently with a 3DS game. And sorry I'm rambling so much right now, and I'm just not speaking well, but the game itself is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The game I'm talking about also is A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS. I love this game. I loved playing it back in the day, but I did play it on the Game Boy Advance. I never had the original Super Nintendo version growing up because I never had a Super Nintendo. I had an NES all the way up until pretty much the end of the century, all the way up until, let's see, I got in like a Game Boy Pocket, and after that, the next thing I got was a PS2. So it was some time before I actually started playing Super Nintendo games. The next game up is Mega Man X, the first in the X series. I have to say, this game kills me every single time. I suck at it, but every time I get a little bit better, and I've still been unable to beat the game, but I hope eventually to be able to just run through the whole thing and beat it without using any kind of cheats. And the last game here, I got it recently in a trade deal I did at a store here in the city of Toronto. I tried playing it on an emulator. Wasn't really fun playing it on an emulator on a tablet. I just much prefer having physical controls. I tried also playing it on the Wii on the Wii Store, sort of a WiiWare download. I don't know what to call it exactly, but that wasn't fun either. I just had to have it, and I got a good trade deal for it, so I went ahead and picked it up, and it's Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, for what it matters. And this cartridge is in the best condition I've ever seen this game in, and I'm absolutely happy to add this to my collection. I've been playing it for a while. I still haven't beaten the game. I still don't think I'm that far in. In fact, um, I just only got Geno, so I still have a long ways to go in this game. Anyways, that's my Super Nintendo collection. Expect another update in a couple of months, unless over this next month I add a significant amount of games to my Super Nintendo collection. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my website, my Twitter, my Facebook. It's all in the description. And that's it. See ya.